and welcome to the Bot Box. Okay, you're probably wondering why I have a new board and a lamb for this episode. Well, the new board is because it makes things look neater, and little lamb is here today because we're talking about Lambsy. Lambsy was a low invertible robot that was both box and wedge. It had a flipper and was black with a wolf's face painted on. To cover this up, there was a stuffed sheep on top. This sheep would eject as soon as the flipper was activated. Consider an ejector seat for the sheep. Lambsy was entered by one Team Coyote, and not the one that entered Coyote in Series 9 and 10. No, the other one. The one that only just qualified for Series 5. Directly, that is. It found a home in Heat B and drew Woowot in round 1. Woowot, for the curious, was a box with a crane arm with jaws attached. Just so you know, Woowot is related to corporal punishment, the subject of episode 11. Woowot got the first attack in landing its clamping arm right on Lambsy's flipper, and thus not allowing Lambsy to attack. The sheep came off when Woowot let go. Okay, this is now serious. So, Woowot started slowly pushing Lambsy, not allowing it to get away, while Shunt got a hold of the sheep. The sheep was stuck on Shunt's axe and meeting some fire in the arena. Meanwhile, Lambsy got away. This didn't last long because Woowot caught up and shoved Lambsy very slowly and very twistily internally into Sir Kill-a-Lot. Meanwhile, the sheep caught fire. Woowot, as I mentioned, had taken the long route to get to Sir Kay. So when Lambsy got dragged there, Woowot was the robot that got attacked. Shunt axed Lambsy, but Sir Kill-a-Lot picked up Woowot, dropped it on its side, and righted it, but it was too late. The damage had been done. Somehow, Woowot had been immobilised, and Lambsy had won. Then came a Series 5 Heat B oddity. See, for some unknown reason that will probably remain until the end of time, both seeds faced each other in round 2. So Lambsy ended up facing fellow unseeded robot Bulldog Breed. This was lucky for Lambsy and for Bulldog Breed, since one of the seeds was Hypnodisc. You'll also be glad to hear that Lambsy also had a fresh sheep. The sheep's ears got covered when the flame pit got mentioned. Philippa, the hit reporter, patted the sheep on the head too. Of course, Bulldog Breed was a flipper, so the sheep was in danger from the word activate. Lambsy made for the pit release at once, only to get flipped, which took the sheep out of commission. It landed pun side up. The pun? I'll be back. Bulldog Breed drove onto Lambsy's flipper, but for reason of invertedness, Lambsy could not flip Bulldog Breed. That meant Bulldog Breed could escape and flip Lambsy. A lot. Once free from that, Bulldog Breed drove over Lambsy, well, that was during the flipping a lot bit, and also shoved them into a CPZ. Shunt's CPZ, to be specific. I think it was Shunt's. So Shunt axed Lambsy. A lot. Once free from that, time ended up running out on them, which was not what they needed. The sheep survived because it got ignored altogether. So, to the judges. Bulldog Breed won by judge's decision And that was lucky for Lambsy because they would have faced Hypnodisc in the heat final. That could have just as easily been the last we ever saw of Lambsy. After failing to qualify for Series 6, Team Coyote were planning to enter their new robot U2 for the minor meltdown in Extreme 2, but it wasn't ready. So Lambsy returned. Hey guys, remember U2? We only talked about U2 like 39 episodes ago. And this is the point where I explain a bit about the minor meltdown. It is for teams with kids, and in one case a teenager, on. Lambsy's weapons operator was the driver's son, Scott Lockhart, who was 9 at the time of the minor meltdown. The kids, and in one case a teenager, got to drive the robots. Lambsy, in its first round there, faced Sawpoint, the one with claws and the random saw blades at the back, and no wheel was made out of saw blades. And another flipper, Bigger Brother, one-time runner-up. Scott got to drive, and his younger brother Daniel, who was 6 at the time, got to use the flipper. They were worried about Bigger Brother, with good reason. Oh, Lambsy had spikes now too. Still had the sheep. Lambsy lost its sheep early, but started off by effectively eating one of Sawpoint's tyres because its flipper could now be used as a draw as well. It let go. That meant it could dodge the Bigger Brother. Ate a wheel again and let go. Bigger Brother then flipped Sawpoint, and now Sawpoint was in a position where it couldn't move. Bigger Brother pushed it around. Lambsy did manage to get in the way and got pushed along with Sawpoint, but it freed itself. It could still move. Sawpoint got sent to Gravel at the house robot. And therefore, Lambsy had to deal with Bigger Brother on its own. But it had a very good chance of getting through. Lambsy did get chased by Bigger Brother though. Bigger Brother opened the pit whilst Sawpoint was getting counted out, which therefore sent both Bigger Brother and Lambsy through. It did end up with Lambsy in the pit though, having been pushed there by Bigger Brother. Sawpoint, on the other hand, suffered worse. It lost 3 out of its 4 wheels, had car parts and a washing machine dumped on it, and to kill lots did the kind thing, picked it up and dumped it outside the arena. Lambsy ended up with company in the pit, Growler sending the washing machine down with it. So, Lambsy was still through. This time it had to face Killer Carrot 2, a flipper, which was bright orange, like carrot. Scott had a plan which involved him taking out the flipper. So naturally, the first thing that happened was Killer Carrot 2 flipping Lambsy over. That took out the sheep. Killer Carrot 2 then missed 2 flips in a row. And as soon as Lambsy had the chance, it took hold of Killer Carrot and shoved it into Mr. Psycho's CPZ. However, Lambsy got hit by Mr. Psycho's hammer for its trouble. Then, once both were free from Mr. Psycho's CPZ, Lambsy was trying to attack, and Killer Carrot randomly lost a wheel. I can only assume that it was affected by Mr. Psycho's hammering. So Lambsy opened the pit, given that a one-wheeled window is easier to push into a pit than a two-wheeled window. Meanwhile, Killer Carrot 2 got run over by Mr. Psycho, counted out, and after being counted out and thus eliminated, tried to flip the ref bot. It tried to dodge the floor flipper. It tried to flip Mr. Psycho. However, it ended up flying for air floor flipper and ended up in the pit despite all efforts to the contrary. Oops. So that put Lambsy into the final to face Bigger Brother. Again, no sheep this time. Bigger Brother flipped Lambsy onto its side, where it could not recover at all. There was no way, no wheels to save it, nothing. It was just stuck. So, Bigger Brother did the sensible thing. Opened the pit and shoved Lambsy in. So thus, Bigger Brother won the Minor Meltdown title. And that was the end of Lambsy. U2 replaced Lambsy in Series 7, and we all know how Lambsy U2 did in that. Scott and Daniel took the loss very well. They're great sports. I have to admit though, Lambsy was pretty lucky to win its one fight in Series 5. It came into its own in that Minor Meltdown tournament because of Scott's driving. You have to consider he was 9 then. Good going, kid. Well, not kid now, but you know what I mean. Lambsy was really unlucky to land where it did in the final. I mean, of all the places, the only place worse that could have been worse to land was on its back. I like the sheep. So, the important question is, who is next? This one. I think it's got a long name. The Hassocks Hog. Until next week, Taliesin244, out.